Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Dom, and I'm here with Anthony. This is the A Word.
Hey.
We're back here on another Sunday here, just relaxing in the office, and we want to talk all things iPad today. So, a big shout out to everybody who listens on iTunes. Thank you very much for supporting the podcast on iTunes, and thank you everybody here on YouTube as well that's catching the video version of this podcast. So all you iTunes people, you can catch us live on YouTube on Sundays, and all of you YouTube people, you can catch us not live on iTunes if you search the search iTunes or search the podcast app for Mac Mixing. You can pull up this podcast and subscribe to it there, and we really appreciate any ratings you want to leave. We encourage you to leave a rating, whether that's a good one or a bad one or anything like that. So thank you very much for that. Real quick before we get started, I want to ask you guys the question that's going to spark off the conversation tonight. So it's no surprise that Apple is getting ready to release a couple of new iPads, probably an iPad Mini 2, whatever they want to call it, and an iPad 5. But here's the question for you out there. What do you want to see in Apple's new iPads? Whether that be a Retina iPad Mini, whether that be the new Touch ID feature in the iPad Mini or in the iPad 5. What do you want to see? What's the most important feature that Apple could add to one of the new iPads, and that's just your shut up and take my money feature? So let us know in the comments section for the video here or for the article, and we will continue discussing that tonight. So hopefully, let's go ahead and see. All right, so okay, it's on. Cool. Let's see. Got everything working good for the people in the podcast here. Okay. So next month in October, it's rumored that Apple is going to have another keynote regarding its iPads, which, I mean, we're not really surprised about. That's kind of how they did it last year. And we're going to see a second generation iPad Mini, more than likely, and a fifth generation full-size iPad. Now, it's actually rumored that the full-size, the second generation iPad Mini and the full-size fifth generation iPad are going to, rumored so far, include the 64-bit operating system and processor set and stuff like that. And also, there were some leaked pictures that actually came up on the web. What was it? A couple of days ago, that was showing possibly what could be the iPad Mini 2 with a finger or with the Touch ID sensor. So let me go ahead and pull that up here for you guys, so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. Let me get this article pulled up. So yeah, the photo service of claimed gold iPad Mini with Touch ID sensor. Let me just get that up here. Yeah, photos of claimed gold iPad Mini with Touch ID fingerprint sensor surface. So, I mean, these could be rendered. They could be fake. I don't know if Apple's really going to add the gold iPad Mini, add the Touch ID sensor to the iPad Mini. I see gold as definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, it would make sense to me that they would expand those colors to, the rest of their line. But at the same time, we didn't see a gold iPod Touch, and they updated it with the space gray model.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, it could go either way. Now, I think that there's probably a lot of people that that desire a gold iPad, and as you can see, this article is here on Mac Rumors, but the original images came from a Chinese website, zol.com.cn, and it was published via nowhereelse.fr. And these images kind of, they look rendery. Like, they just don't look 100% authentic, in my opinion. So that's, take that for what it is. Don't get too overwhelmed and worked up about that, because we don't know if it's actually in existence at the time. But
I'd like to think so.
I don't think that the Touch ID thing is going to come to the iPad. What is this? The voices are being mixed up. I don't know. I saw a comment here. I wasn't sure what it meant.
Do you think if they make a gold one that they won't have the ring around it?
Okay, so with the Touch ID thing, I don't think that I think that Apple added this to the iPad as sort of, or sorry, to the iPhone as sort of a hardware beta test. Like, I don't think that it's ready for prime time. I mean, we have this nice little gold, gold ring and the Touch ID sensor on the iPhone, but I think that as far as like the iPads go, I don't think that it's like ready for prime time yet. I think that they want to gauge how well this does on the iPhone first.
maybe they put it out like knowing that it was pretty awesome and they're gonna keep it going. I think it's a likely thing that we could see the fingerprint the Touch ID on the iPad Mini.
I think if Apple's going to go all out and revamp the iPad Mini with 64-bit with Retina, okay, if we have like a 64-bit Retina iPad Mini with the Touch ID thing, that's my shut up and take my money, thing right there. I think that would definitely be the one thing that would kind of drive me to the edge to purchase that device. Now, what I hope doesn't happen is that we just see, oh, here's an iPad Mini updated processor, blah blah blah, and then maybe in the spring they release some
iPad Mini 2.5.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like they release, like they pull a 4th generation iPad on us, like where they release the 3rd generation in March and the 4th generation in October. I really hope that Apple doesn't do something like that. So let us know what your desirable feature is for the iPad Mini 2. Down in the comment section, or leave a comment on the article for this podcast when it's published and stuff like that. And we will get into that discussion. But, iPad 5, right? We've seen pictures of the iPad 5, leaked pictures anyway, of the iPad 5. I wonder if the echo was happening while I was...
someone just right here.
What?
When you switched.
Oh, when I switched to the article.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean...
This
yes
wacky technology we have these days.
Aha. There we go. Okay. You guys can see kind of Wirecast and all this Pro Tool stuff. Anyway, so the iPad 5, right? We saw some pictures of this. Let me find a picture of it and then we can talk about it. There was actually a video uploaded by Unbox Therapy and a video uploaded by Detroit Borg and a few others that had the casings for the iPad 5. And obviously, and actually TLD Today, Jonathan from TLD Today made a cool video where he actually took the display and stuff out of the iPad, the 4th generation iPad, and like mocked up like a 5th generation.
Oh, really?
iPad. It wasn't like really complete or anything. You guys have to see that video to go check it out. And if I find a link, I'll be sure to drop it down in the description for this podcast. But let's go ahead and let me see here. What am I looking for? So iPad 5, right? I think that, right now, in my opinion, the 4th generation iPad is a very, very powerful tablet. I definitely think that, I don't know. I mean, if they can step it up, yeah, they're obviously going to make it faster and stuff. But, I mean, how far does Apple step it up to where they're just adding specs onto the sheet? You know what I mean? And they're really about that type of thing.
Yeah.
Like, they say it all the time. Like, we're not about just adding a 40-megapixel camera. We're about making the picture better, not the megapixels bigger or more. You know what I mean? Like, and so... I mean, the iPad 4 I have an iPad 4 over here to the side of me that I'm actually using to monitor video and stuff with. I think it's a very, very powerful device and food. And yeah, I don't know what else they could add to it. I mean, obviously, the typical spec update. I think that the body change is going to be the style change of the iPad 5 is going to be a bigger update than the internals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's going to be a lot thinner.
Oh yeah. It's rumored to be way thinner actually.
Yeah.
What was it? I can't remember where I saw there was like some like it was going to be thinner than the
iPhone, right?
Yeah, that's what I saw. I saw that somewhere. Right?
I saw that somewhere too.
I don't know where, but I saw it somewhere.
Thinner than the iPhone, supposedly.
Okay, so hello, Spencer. You got somebody that said hello in the comments, but okay, quick question here, real quick. This is This is from Stefan Official 96. Nice to see you. And he says, one quick question. What are the best headphones for iPhone? Well, that's kind of hard to answer, okay?
Yeah.
Because like in my opinion, the best headphones for iPhone, I have some really nice headphones, and they're not like everyday user headphones, but I think they're the best headphones for iPhone. You know what I mean? Like, it depends on what your budget is, right? It really depends on what your budget is. And hello, Noah.
Yeah.
It really depends on what your budget is for that. Personally, though, like if you just use the earpods are not bad. What do you think about earpods?
I like them.
I think they're good.
I like them.
I think-
use them frequently. I don't. For me, I'm not. I don't record and like do all the sound production. So
Yeah.
for me, I mean, I listen to music on it, and that's the extent of my headphone usage. But it works, and I like them a lot better than the earpods.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. I think the earpods are good, and they're better than Apple's
Did I say
old headphones.
Yeah, I meant the earphone.
Yeah, I know that's what you meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me just look through. Okay, here's another question. Do you think the iPad mini will be as good as the iPad 4? And the iPad 5 will have 64-bit. You know, I think eventually Apple's plan is to roll out 64-bit to all of their iOS devices.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have them
Why not?
all. Yeah, why not? Exactly. Because you're making it that much more powerful.
Yeah.
Why not? Maybe with the exception of the iPod Touch, I think that's kind of. I think that device is kind of falling behind.
You know what though? I find the iOS 7 is, a lot of people are saying it's glitchy, it's buggy, all this stuff.
This is true.
It's true too. Yeah, but it's also like a lot of people are using iPhone 4s, and it's just not meant to run. I mean, that's one of the good things about the new devices when they put them out.
Yeah.
They're twice as fast, than the version before. 10 times fast as the other ones, whatever. So by them putting higher processors, and I mean, obviously the devices are going to run better. So I think that it's in their best interest to, make these devices top notch.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that the iPod Touch is falling behind in terms of
usage.
No, they're. I mean, a lot of people buy them. Don't get me wrong, but the iPhone is the most popular, line in that whole realm. They sell more iPhones. You know what I mean? They sell a whole crap ton of iPads too. Those are really popular as well. I think that if they're gonna go and expand, their main focus definitely is going to be the iPad and iPhone stuff. Now, it's kind of weird because we never actually heard Apple say specifically, "Oh, we sold this many iPad minis," right?
Yeah.
I mean, they've never came out and said, "This is how many iPad minis we sold." But in my opinion, I tend to see more iPad minis out and about than I do full-size iPads. Right? What do you think? No?
No, I don't think so. Not in my day-to-day life.
I see more minis out there. But I think that, okay, for example, like I have a Nexus 7, the new Nexus 7. The new Nexus 7. I know, that's so stupid. I have the second generation Nexus 7, and that thing, it's packed with power, it's packed with a high-resolution display, and it's very, very portable and handheld. I think that Apple needs a Nexus 7. You know what I mean? Like, they need... The iPad mini was cool when it came out,
yeah,
and it still is cool, but I think that it could definitely use an upgrade as far as like, I think that they could bring the iPad mini up to the iPad 4 specs, and it would make a lot of people happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that would definitely be a good thing. And also too, putting the Touch ID would be cool as well. But I think that, at least for my workflow, the Touch ID is more useful on an iPhone. Simply because, and the only reason I say that is because of like, okay, how you pull it out of your pocket. Like you pull the iPhone out of your pocket and you press the home button and your phone unlocks. You know what I mean? Like
it's really
like
awesome.
The workflow on this thing is so awesome. You just press the button and boom, you're inside of your, you're inside
so
of your
many
phone.
milliseconds. It's unreal.
I know, it's shaving off tons of milliseconds there. It's crazy.
But it is.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it over time, I mean,
I wonder really how much time that actually saves. Like if you
Over
if you
a
count
year.
if you count over a year, the milliseconds it shaves off to not press the lock button and to just press your home button to unlock your phone. I wonder how many milliseconds that saves. Maybe a lifetime's worth.
Maybe.
You never know.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody should do a test on that and see.
Not us.
Okay, so DJ Wrath 1 says, I never owned an iPad. I will be getting the iPad 5. I think that's a very wise choice because I think the iPad 5 is going to be the best iPad yet. Just joking. But I mean, it will be. I mean,
No,
that's Johnny Ive's
Yeah,
typical little speech. But I think that coming in at the iPad 5, you're skipping all the crap in the middle. You know what I mean? Like there's just, I think it's going to be really refined, obviously, as far as like hardware specs go. And Apple's getting to a point where we're making these high quality, like for example, the iPhone 5, the 64-bit processing power and stuff like that. And it benchmarks higher than any other phone in its class right now. I think that they're getting to a point where this is becoming a little more affordable for them to make and produce mainstream.
Yeah.
And that's why I think coming at the iPad 5 is going to be good. Well, the iPod Help 101 says, will the next iPhone be called the iPhone 6? If so, what would you want to see? I don't even know, man.
That's so...
I can't even wrap my head around, I think the iPhone 5S is a pretty darn good iPhone.
Yeah.
In terms of it brings mostly everything that I would want out of a device. I personally think it would be great if we saw expandable storage, but I doubt that's going to happen. I just doubt it because then they would have no point. There wouldn't be a big
64.
There wouldn't be a big point in selling higher margins like the 64 or even a 128. Now, a 128, a 128 gigabyte iPhone, I know people would desire.
Yes, a lot of people would love that.
I don't care personally.
It's a lot of space on a phone. But if you're into music and videos and watching videos on your iPhone, then it definitely comes in handy.
Yeah, we have Stefan Official asked if we could speed test the 2G, 3G, 3GS. There's actually, there is somebody that did that. Actually, if you go to just go to youtube.com and it'll be on the front page.
Is it on the front page right now?
It's trending right now. It's on the front page, youtube.com. And you can
seen it.
Yeah, you can see it if you here's my, I'm not even logged in on this thing. I'm not even logged in on YouTube right now. And if you just go to youtube.com, it's the front one. iPhone 5S versus 5C versus 5 versus 4S versus 4 versus 3GS versus 3G.
How many hits has that got so far?
It's at 751,000 right now.
Wow.
So that is definitely a viral video going on happening right now. So
person.
Be sure to check that out. That video is getting insane right now. But it's a pretty cool video, actually. Obviously, it's kind of what we expected to be of a speed test like that. You know what I mean? But it just shows you how far Apple has come in terms of making their iPhone.
Shadow Extent or EXT says the iPhone 5S benchmarks better than his MacBook or her MacBook.
Seriously?
Pro. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That is insane.
I don't know what's good or bad. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to gauge this comment without being offensive. Like, is it that the MacBook is slow or is it that the iPhone is really fast?
To Stefan Official 96 question, do we think the iPhone 6 will have 2 speakers like the iPad mini? I say no.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so.
I just don't think that it's necessary.
It works the way it is
First
right
of all,
now.
let me clear the air here. The iPad mini is said to have stereo speakers.
Stereo!
No, okay, listen. That is not stereo. You can't put 2 speakers right side by side on the bottom of a device and call it stereo. Of course, sure, it's technically panned left and right and it's stereo, but I think of stereo as an immersive experience. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like on both sides of your ears. Like stereo sound. You know what I mean?
The iPhone or the iPad mini, actually, it has special technology where it goes straight to its ears. The left one goes to the left ear and the right goes to the right ear.
It doesn't.
No, I'm kidding.
Even on the second generation,
bad taste.
The second generation Nexus 7 doesn't even have. It's said to have surround sound and it's supposed to be all cool and stuff. But even that device doesn't have. It doesn't really work very well.
Just because it has 2 speakers doesn't necessarily
there's speakers on
mean
both
that
sides where your hands hold it.
Yeah.
And if you hold it right, they kind of project off the cup of your speaker or of your this is not a speaker. What is this? A palm. They project off the cup of your palm, and they kind of come out towards you. But if you want stereo sound, just put in some headphones.
iPhone 2G shuts down faster than the iPhone 5S.
I'd believe it, probably because it's way less intricate. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing on it.
iOS 7 shuts down longer than iOS 6 did. You know, it just does.
I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily a deciding factor in how great anything is.
Oh, no.
Or whatever, but
if you need to restart your phone a lot,
yeah,
it's going to be an issue.
So anyways, I know you guys have seen it before, but I just want to give you a quick little close-up look again at the gold iPhone 5S. If you guys haven't seen the gold one, I actually have an unboxing of this guy on my channel. You can go check it out. youtube.com/MacMixing. Most of you that are watching the video version already know that because you're here, but I really do like this gold color. Actually, I've been using it, for the last few days, and I really do like the gold tone. It's just so fresh looking.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I said it. I said it. Okay, I said it in my unboxing video. I don't even know if it's actually the gold that I like so much as it's just a new thing. It's a new take on everything.
Yeah,
it's totally different from anything we've seen from Apple.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the smart thing that they're doing now. They've taken white and black and made them so they're not colors anymore.
Shadow EXT 2009 MacBook Pro, and he's a guy.
Yeah.
So, you got that memo.
I did. I got the TPS report.
You got the TPS report. So, would you upgrade from an iPad Mini to an iPad Mini 2? Now, this is very conditional, if I will or not. So, if Apple gives us an iPad Mini 2 next month, and it's just got like an A6 processor and it's A6 processor, a little bit more RAM, and it's the typical like Apple meh update, then I would say no. Because I think that very shortly after that, they're going to be releasing an iPad Mini 2 with a Retina display.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other side to this condition is that if Apple releases the Retina display iPad Mini 2 next month, whether or not it has a Touch ID fingerprint sensor on it, I would say go for the gold. Sell your current iPad Mini. You can probably still get $250 out of it or something, and upgrade. I think that would be worth it. Do you think we will see wearable phones like something from Iron Man? I think that we're a little bit away from that.
A little bit.
I think the Galaxy Gear is a perfect example of why we're a little bit away from that. And I will have videos on that. I know if you guys want to see that, I will have video on the Galaxy Note 3 and the Samsung Galaxy Gear coming up this week. So stay tuned for those videos as well if you want to see that device in action and kind of see how it works and looks and stuff like that. Stay tuned for those videos coming up here on the channel. Let's see what else we got here.
Josiah Loves You is asking Griffin Survivor or OtterBox Defender. What's your take on that?
I would say Griffin, personally. Yeah. I would go with the Griffin Survivor. I like the Griffin Survivors, and I don't know about the new Defenders, but the Griffin Survivor, the screen protector that's built in is flush with the screen.
That's very nice.
That's what I like about that. There's no small little tap gap. I know you guys know what I'm talking about, tap gap, like on life-proof cases or anything like that.
Like an old school phone.
iPad Mini is slow on games that use a lot of power. Yes, that is true. I think that the iPad Mini better. Yes, I agree with you, Spencer. The iPad Mini better step up its game.
Definitely.
Literally.
No, yeah.
Gaming wise.
Everything it needs to step up.
I think it will be good. I hope that Apple releases the iPad Mini that we all kind of need at this point in the game.
I think they're going to, though.
I haven't noticed a whole lot of lag on my iPad Mini, but I actually don't have a lot of stuff on there either. So I think it depends on how much you load it up with stuff and how fresh the install is of iOS. But yeah, it does, they do lag over time for sure. I definitely can agree with that there. So I think that, okay, let's, hold on, what is this? I like the gold, but I was thinking it will look better with a black glass, and I will pay $100 for that. I think that it would be cool if it had gold and black and yellow. Let's not get into copyrights here too
No.
much, but yeah, I'm sure, you know what? I'm sure if you bought a gold 5S, there are companies that would switch that out for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, essentially the pieces are the same on the thing, you know.
No, there is actually a couple websites already out there if you just look it up that do that.
You're sold on a gold. Okay, DJ Wrath, I'm already sold on a gold iPad 5. I think okay, cuz you got to remember too, they're going to bring the space gray over more than likely. They're going to ditch the slate color.
Yeah.
Cuz they've been doing that, you know, they did that with the iPhone, with the iPod Touch. I think the iPad Mini, the iPad Mini 2 and the iPad 5
Mini
are going to be the same. They're going to have that space gray. And I kind of like the space gray color. Now, I'll probably end up just buying aluminum because I think that the aluminum silver color is easier to just, it's just easier overall. Like I can resell it later if I want to easier. Mm-hmm. It's just got a neutral color to it, you know. I think that's probably why I will stick with the silver color for the iPad. But yeah, I definitely think that we're going to see the space gray color and the gold color come to the iPad lineups this year. Just not sure when, I guess. Random. Okay, let's see. 4S. My cousin has the iPad Mini and plays Asphalt 8 and has random lag spikes, but my iPhone 4S packed with tons of apps runs perfectly. Yeah, you know, it's hard to say what actually lags a device like that. It's really, really hard to tell, you know, what actually does that. But it
could very well be the app, right?
A quick restore, it could be technically,
like,
yeah.
a
quick restore would fix a lot of stuff, though.
I don't know if I'm saying Lou Sawyer is asking if we think that Apple will touch base on the Classic ever again.
I think we're seeing the Classic go away.
Yeah.
At some point. I think that we're definitely going to see the Classic.
I think the Class is gone.
I think the Classic is just, it's not I think there are certain people that it's desirable to. And I think that they'll probably keep that model as it is right now around for quite some time, but I don't think that they're going to revamp it.
No.
I mean, why would they? It perfectly serves its purpose. You know what I mean? Maybe a connector update. Maybe put the lightning connector on it. I don't know, but what's the point in that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, really, what's the point in doing that?
I see them almost getting rid of it.
Okay, so you guys have questions coming in at 1 million questions a second, and we're trying to get to all of them, and I apologize if we can't. But save them for next week, too, when we come back and do this podcast again. But I'm going to get to a few more here. What do you think about Apple blocking third-party lightning cables? You know, okay, I have two sides to that, right? So these people that make the third-party lightning cables, they don't really care about technical specification. So I mean, in all technicality, a crappy third-party lightning cable could ruin your device. Mm-hmm. That is very, very true. Now, also on the other side of that, there are some manufacturers that, you know, maybe they can't afford Apple's special certification, you know, to make the lightning cables and stuff, and they're just making quality product. I think there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, Apple has the right to license out its own technology. You know, from a legal standpoint, right? They have the right to license out their own technology. Yeah, and that's what they do.
That's
and they make sure
completely will in their
their
rights.
Good point. Yeah, Sonny Dixon did upload. Go to twitter.com/Sonny Dixon. You guys can check out his timeline or his feed or whatever. He did upload a video. He obtained a video and uploaded it of somebody showcasing the iPad 5 and iPad Mini rear housing in space gray. So that is definitely coming. But I think the third-party thing, the third-party lightning connector, I think Apple has the right to license out its own technology. But at the same time, I think that the people that they license out that technology to overcharge for their cables. So we're kind of in a tough spot right now. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, they kind of have to. It's just the way that economics
it is the nature
of
the beast, yeah.
If they have to spend more money to make it, they're gonna charge more.
Yeah.
To the consumer, of course.
Definitely. So.
But it's also one of those things where some people enjoy having the right things and not the, I'm gonna just say, knockoff. You know. Okay.
One more thing before we get out of here. Orion Designs asks, "What are your opinions on the new Mac Pro?" You know what? That is really hard for me to gauge because they haven't really given out a bunch of specs on that yet. I mean, we know kind of what's inside of there. We haven't actually seen one performing. You know what I mean? So it's really hard to gauge that right at this moment. Now, the one thing I have noticed is that the form factor is a lot smaller, right? And because of that, Apple's heavily relying on Thunderbolt 2 and external components to make your Pro machine. I don't necessarily like that, because if I wanted to rely on external components to make up a Pro machine, then why not just make it as small as, or a little bigger than a Mac Mini, and why even have like a tower, and why, you know what I mean? Like, the point of like the previous Mac Pros, you could open that thing up, you could put a bunch of cards inside of there, anything you want basically, and close it up, and you have a nice solid tower. That's one thing. It seems like with the new Mac Pro, because of its form factor, you're going to be able to fit less inside of there, and you're going to have to rely more on external, Thunderbolt resources and stuff like that. So,
which kind of seems like what they're trying to get to. It's
hard to tell
from the MacBook Pros that have been out. It seems like that's what they're going towards. Outside things to utilize your computer.
But I think that just defeats the point of a Pro machine.
It kind of, yeah.
Like it just doesn't really make much sense. It's like the Chewbacca defense.
Well, no, but what I'm talking about is more things such as like the CD-ROM drive, like getting rid of the things that aren't very necessary in the computer and revamping the computer to make it so it's...
Yeah, but who's that not necessary for? Is it not necessary for Apple or for us? You know what I mean?
Touché.
Do you know what I mean?
The sword has two blades.
Yes, it does. and one end is pointier than the other. You know what? It is. So, yes, I do play guitar, if you guys can see that. This is my Ovation back here. I do play guitar. I've played guitar for a long time. And actually, I have a guitar-related review coming up here later on this week for iRig Pro.
You also have that
I got out.
That slow-mo video where you smash a guitar.
Oh, yeah. If you guys go watch that on the channel, I smashed
cool.
the guitar in slow motion using the iPhone 5S.
Yes.
Go watch it. It's on my channel. It's pretty cool.
But BioKid41, I would love to see those cases. They're asking if iPad mini cases and full-size iPad cases from Apple. I would love to see things like that. I don't think that they will.
Like the leather cases?
Yeah.
Like the leather case that we have here?
I don't know that they're going to, but I would like to see.
Well, they do have a full-size smart case for the iPad.
Yeah, but for the mini and...
Not for the mini, no.
Like the leather and...
No, they don't have those
I don't
yet.
think that they're going to.
But
it'd be nice.
Yeah, okay, to answer your question, the iPod Help, I will do a video setup, like an office setup very soon. I've been so busy with all of this iPhone and iPad stuff, so just keep in mind that that's coming up in the future as well, guys. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. We're going to head out for the night. I'm sorry if we couldn't get to all of your questions, but we will be back, and if you guys... Let me know do you guys want me to do more live streams like just throughout the week, just for the hell of it, just to have more interaction with everybody out there. Let me know, and please go rate us on iTunes. You can find our podcast in iTunes. Search for Mac Mixing. It's called The A Word, and you can find it in there. Also, subscribe to the podcast, and if you're listening on iTunes, please come check out the live video version of this podcast. We'd really appreciate it and like to see you out here and interact with us and the audience and everything like that. So thank you very much, everybody. We really appreciate you watching, and we will be on next week. We're trying to get better with timing and stuff. This whole professional live video thing is a little new, obviously, to us. So thank you for sticking with us and helping us grow this little video podcast here. We'll catch you guys next week and talk to you soon. Thanks.
See ya.
See ya.